This video is all about what I'm personally doing, things I'm working on towards my own growth outside of my job and career and stuff like that. So, a big part of that has been the fasting and my own training. So, I'm doing fasting 3 days a week, and right now I'm on day two of a 3 day fast and just kick off the month. So that's my new rule. My new fasting rule is a 3 day fast and then fasting till 3 p.m. for the rest of the month. I'm coming off of 6 months of doing 3 days per week fasting. And I was kind of like messing around with fasting throughout the month outside of those days. But recently I started doing like that 3 o'clock eating window and then have like a nice big dinner. So basically like late lunch and then dinner. That's most days for me outside of that. Before this, I was really like pounding energy drinks, sports drinks and stuff and just food whenever I want, whenever I feel like it. And so for me, getting around that, it looks like putting some strict parameters on food. And I've been just reading resources about fasting while I'm fasting, so it supports the habit. And then I've been training as well because when I'm fasting, I'm helping myself get into deeper into a fasted state. If you read about ketones and all that stuff, the science part of it, exercise and helping your body break down glycogen helps the process. It helps with like not being hungry and foggy and just sitting around thinking about food. And then this is all because then you're controlling your what sources you want to get dopamine from. And so I want it from the best use of my time, the best use of everything a part of me, everything for me, right? So I want to make sure that I'm writing more. I want to make sure that I'm training more. I want to respect the gates of my time. So when I say I'm doing something at it's 10 o'clock right now, if I say I'm doing something at 11, I want to be doing it at 11 and I want to end it at say 1. I want to be done at 1. And don't let things get in the way. Don't let conversations, don't let little things get in the way. And that's all it is starts to be a internal process, right? Like your hormones are creating our reality right now. And so if we alter those hormones, boom, we're in a different reality. And there's a lot that I'm getting into with that, but you listen to some podcasts that I've been listening to, it makes a whole lot of sense. So to name drop, Dr. Andrew Huberman, he talks all about hormones and neurology and all this stuff. And so like waking up on time and never letting that boundary slip for 30 days or more, you're changing your hormones, getting sunlight in your eyes first thing in the morning, delaying coffee 2 hours after you wake. Don't just like get the coffee and get on with it and make the coffee do he calls it like overcoming the limbic friction. So like when you debate with yourself about doing, one thing from the other, maybe it's like something difficult. That's what it is. It's doing something difficult, and then you have to overcome that inertia, that like thing in your way to do the action. It's a limbic friction. Literally, your limbic system in your brain and body have to have a war. And if your habits have lined up long enough, then you'll do that habit. And if they haven't, you start to support the other side. And so this is like eating windows, right? Like you'll eat at the same time that you ate yesterday. If you have no awareness, that normally happens because like when you wake up, it's on most days it's like a nice thing to do is just eat something. But for this period of time, I'm just getting really strict with when I'm eating, what I'm eating, and it's been fruiting for like other pursuits, like the training pursuits, and then just orienting my mind towards what can I do better on, and pushing myself towards growth in other areas. So the fasting, the big bit of it, and I don't want to take up the whole time talking about just fasting. So it really is like when somebody starts working out might get them in the gym, but then when you're in the office, when you're out with your friends and all these things, the food is the thing to be the exercise, right? You have to say no to certain types of food, and if you haven't or you haven't been practicing saying no to food at all, you'll say yes to a cookie. So the thought here is like, start saying no to all food. Don't discriminate what kind of food you say no to. Say no to all food for a little while, even if it's just till noon, and then you're having more control on what am I going to eat, because you want that meal to be a really worthwhile meal. If you're fasting at all, even if you're just taking out breakfast and you go till lunch, in my experience, you feel how sensitive you are to food. So if you like put sugary creamer in the coffee, or if you just don't eat like protein and like a real meal, you start to like feel in your stomach and your head and everything. And this is the thing that like you don't want your kids to do. You don't want them to eat like crap and then they're in a bad mood and they're tough to deal with. And for me, that personally, that's like a big thing, is like the emotional downfall of food. When you're fed, you're just like, I just know I'm done, right? If I'm working out or if I'm speaking with people and stuff, I'm basically cooked after I eat. A lot of times, my girl will even attest to this. After I eat, I just fall right to sleep. So, knowing that and knowing neurology and all these things and like considering them all into what I'm doing, it's like, well, if I know I'm going to be tired after I eat, why not just extend those windows of not eating? And and it's nice, right? Because you're burning fuel faster when you're not eating. And if you're eating, you're taking in more fuel than you're gonna go ahead and burn in like the next few hours. So it's gonna go into the deep stores, and you're gonna hold it. And then if you have extra body fat on you, you're gonna hold more weight. You just add it to it. So yeah, you might consider it. My dad, who lost a considerable amount of weight, he does fasting like once a week, and sometimes liquid fast. So it's any kind of food that's any meal that you could have in a liquid, so like protein shakes, coffee, stuff like that. But or even juice, right? It's cool to do it like a solid food fast and just make it really easy on your digestive system. You're only drinking stuff for the day, and then any chips and things like that, you just put them to the side. So that's all good stuff. So that's what I'm up to with. That takes up a big amount of my effort, is focusing on my fasting and directing my energy towards different things, and not so much because I don't like food, is because I love food, and I want to make sure I'm going to food in the right way, in the right decisions, and be clear why I'm eating something, when I'm eating something,